Hey everybody, GravyTrain here with another episode of GravyTraining. This one is a hero spotlight by request on the hero Shade. This one was a request from Jerry Lou, so thanks for being a subscriber, Jerry, and I am happy to take requests from time to time. So without further ado, here we go. So Shade is, most people are at least familiar with Shade in general terms, but he is a fast caster spirit. We haven't done too many fast heroes thus far. We've done Deadeye and Zen, and I think so far that's about it. But yeah, he's a fast caster. He used to be an S hero, like hands down, but pretty much the time of the dwarves kind of taking over. He's still useful, don't get me wrong, but he is not quite as top of the list as he used to be. I'm going to show you some tactics and some good ways to make use of him, and then we'll kind of go from there. So first of all, he does have an epic, and it is maxed, or mine is maxed. So it's 30% attack, 20% max health, 10% crit chance. The effect on a basic attack has a 30% chance to attack for 2 times damage, fear, and shroud dark allies for a turn. Shroud basically means that dark allies will not be able to be debuffed. They cannot be, or they get damage resistance and a couple of other things. I think they become immune to fear or something like that. So, the runes, really the kind of best way to rune Shade is going to be pretty heavy on the offense. You're going to want to get 2 festives with him. Just so that he can, you want at least 2 festives. If you really want to go crazy, you can get 3, but it's unnecessary. 2 festives will allow him to do his lifelink on the first turn. So we will talk about that when the time comes. Shade is unique in his rune roster. He has all dark runes. He is the only hero to have all of a single color. Next would be Koros, that has 2 red and 3 greens, or 3 red and 2 greens, 3 red and 2 greens. But yeah, so he differs from the norm as far as that. So I've gone heavy attack, and then healing and such. So he's got 715 attack, 357 attack, 325 defense, healing damage. This one, the festive just happened to have some defense on it. Otherwise, it would be more, his attack would actually be higher. This hero rune, attack, defense, heals 10% of damage dealt. Basically, it's the same as this first one. Hero rune, attack, defense, 10% damage pen. And then finally, the last rune is another festive, 4 defense, health, and +1 energy. That takes his stats. Your attack, like if I wasn't as worried about the festives, I could easily get him at probably 16 or 17. I think 17,000 attack is pretty reasonable. And his defense would just go down to kind of base. But 13,000 attack is nothing to sneeze at. And his defense is still somewhat decent. His max health is going to be decent, and he's got a 50% crit chance. Pretty sure he gets this out of the gate. Yeah. So with his skill and his epic and everything else, he's actually over cap. So, his basic abilities. He is a fast hero. He attacks in the fast phase. I really dislike that phrasing because he doesn't attack first all the time. Especially not on offense. He is fear immune. He cannot be feared. He is magical, takes less damage from non-physical attacks. This is a nice little perk of Shade, is turn the blind eye, or turn a blind eye. He is immune to taunt and provoke. Provoke being not as big a deal, but being immune to taunt is really nice. So he can just go straight past that taunt rune. I mean, it's not as big a deal round 1 or round 2, because most people are only using the taunt runes. They're not actually using the ability, but sometimes they are. So he is able to ignore taunt, which means he can go right to the juicy bits that your opponent is trying to protect. Dark Shroud, so this is what I was talking about before with his epic. The first round, Dark allies gain Shrouded for 1 turn, which means they take significantly reduced damage and are immune to all debuffs. That is not true for Jin's Silence. So, yeah, their wording is kind of screwy on this stuff. They will still be able to be silenced because it said ignores immunity. Also, Malice's passive that applies that demonic buff is going to ignore this, for example. He is mystical, so he does boosted damage versus tanks and slow targets. And that's it, as far as his passives. His basic attacks, we've already talked about his epic. So, Haunted Past. So this is his first ability. It is a ranged spirit attack, so don't try to use it against Solaris. That scares for 3821 base damage and haunts the enemy team, multiplying dark damage by 2. So I don't remember if this actually applies. I think the haunt actually does apply fear, or has a chance to apply fear or something. Don't quote me on that though. The big thing is that it's doing damage to the target that you're hitting, and then it's multiplying dark damage against the entire team, whether you hit or miss, by 2. Second ability, this is one of his most clutch abilities. So, Spirit Link links spirit with an enemy, redirecting 107% damage and healing. So what this means is that damage that's dealt to Shade goes right on through that Spirit Link and gets applied to whoever he is Spirit Linked to, and healing applied to the target of the Spirit Link ignores them and goes straight up and heals Shade. So that's pretty nice. Steals all their buffs and transfers any debuff that's applied to Shade, gets applied down the pipe to the enemy. So he gets all the good. The guy he's got Spirit Linked gets all the bad. So it doesn't actually do damage. I don't believe this has got a chance to miss. The only caveat with Spirit Link and with the next ability is that heroes that cannot be debuffed cannot be targeted. So Valken, Emily, Agnon, those kind of things. You cannot target those heroes because this applies a debuff to the target, which maintains that connection. Also, then that target, anything that would purge debuffs or cleanse debuffs off of that target will cleanse this ability. So Koros's Purifying Flame, Emily's Group Heal, hitting Iris's third ability, the Annihilation Beam, will get rid of it. Any number of different abilities that purge debuffs will purge this effect. Still very useful. And finally, Possession. So this is his most devious trick. He possesses a fallen hero, reviving them with 100% health and 50 plus 58% defense for 3 turns, resetting their cooldowns to fight on your side. Lasts until purged, expired, or death. So this one's a little more complicated. Like I said, the same rules that apply to Spirit Link apply to this. So you can't hit, you can't possess another Shade, you cannot possess Valken, Agnon, Emily, Furnace, those kind of heroes. So there's that, but you can go into the corpse of a dead hero, you possess them. It's also really good if you're going up against a rezzing team, because once you're done with that hero, even if they end up doing like no damage, that hero is no longer rezzable on that side. So that's something tactically to be aware of, is that you can effectively use it as corpse removal as well. At least to some degree. It's a limited form of corpse removal. It does have a fairly, well, it's a 5 turn, so you're not going to be able to do this like over and over and over. You might get it twice in a fight. Probably not, though. Spirit Link is going to be kind of the same thing. So the advantage here is that you have their stats. Whatever that hero has, their runes, their abilities, you've got all of that stuff. And you have 56 or 58% higher defense. If that hero takes enough damage, or if you possessing that hero takes enough damage to kill the hero, that hero fully dies, the corpse goes away, and then Shade steps out in the condition that he was going in. So if he has 100% health or 1 hit point, however he went into it, that's how he comes out. So it's a pretty good ability. A lot of versatility. I've hate nothing more than like, Shade lifelinks my Iris, forces me to kill or to attack Shade because he's the only enemy left. That kills my Iris, and then he possesses my Iris and kills me with it. Shade is definitely a frustrating hero when you let him do what he wants to do. So I actually set out and created or runed up some heroes to use as an example team for this. So what I'm going to do, and of course I'm going up against like a worst case scenario here, but I do not shy away from a fight. I am going to do a team of Shade, and once again, because of the Shroud and a bunch of other things, it's good to run Shade with other dark heroes. So I am going to run Shade. I am going to run Malice. I am going to run Craw. And I am going to run Zom. So really briefly, Malice is going to be good offensively. She's going to purge and steal buffs. She's going to block healing, so Emily is going to be far less useful. She'll also stop Dagran, so Malice is pretty strong against this. She will also stop haste, because all of the hastes have a heal component. I'll do a spotlight on her fairly soon, but just know that she stops healing. Anything that is counted as a heal, she stops. We'll have Cross, so we'll have Foresight, so we'll block debuffs. All of the undead heroes, which in this case is only Zom, he's going to get 50% lifesteal instead of just 25. And there's other benefits. There's already a Craw video. Check it out. And Zom. So the thing to remember here is that Shade is a caster. Malice is, I think she's a warrior. She's a warrior or a tank. I think she's a warrior, but I'm not going to swear by that. And Craw is a healer. So if and when they die, you're going to have a caster, a warrior, or a tank, and a healer backing up Zom. So you're not just thinking about this life, you're thinking about their next life too. When they come back, they're going to come back and they're going to have these overpowered stats. So the character is going to come back, the Zominion is going to come back with massive attack. Massive attack and defense here, and high skill and damage and everything on this one. So that makes Zom able to kind of stand alone if he needs to. Now I'll probably get steamrolled by this team, but we'll see. I make no promises either way. Alright, So, very common tactic. I can go a couple of ways here. So the problem is his Dagrand is going to be first. It does not behoove me to use Spirit Link first. Because, well, technically, so we can see here, there is the sacrifice buff, this or debuff, that comes from Malice and cannot be healed and takes bonus damage from demon heroes. So there is already a debuff on them. And all the rest of these are buffs. So the cleansing aura, he cleanses the debuff on all allies at the start of this hero's turn. So basically I've got a 50-50 chance that lifelink or Spirit Link is going to be dispelled. So I really don't want to do that this first turn. I mean, I want to do it, but I need to kill Dagrand first. Normally I would go ahead and lead with that, but in this case I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and lead with Haunted Past. And I am going to use that to break the shield on Emily. Doesn't do enough damage to worry about. And that hurts. Yeah, I figured I'd get steamrolled by this team. But the Zaminions are going to come back pretty tough. If Zom survives. Which he should. Yes. Alright, so not an ideal start, but I've got 3 Uber Zaminions, so we'll see what happens. We're going to attack him. Oops. And yeah, we'll go ahead and heal while we can. And the whole Zom, this is fast becoming a Zom video, but matter of fact, I'm going to change tax. I'm going to attack Emily. I need to kill Emily first. Oh, come on, hang on, Zom, hang on. Oh, boy. Does he have... He should be able to heal. Not enough. Alright, come on, lucky crit. Give me a lucky crit here. I'm probably not going to survive this round. We'll see. Nope. It was a valiant effort. It could have gone either way. If I could have taken his Emily down, that might have worked. I wouldn't normally use this team against dwarves like this. This one I should actually fare better because there's no Emily and there's no Dagrand. So this should work just fine. I probably could have considered taking Jin instead of Craw that last round. Might have done a little bit better. So I have Craw. If you haven't seen my video on Foresight, go ahead and check that out. It's in the game mechanics spotlight for Foresight. So there is a visual glitch here. This ability appears to be silenced. It's actually not. So I already know that Hagrim has gone. Hagrim is also diseased. So is Jin. I am going to, and I can't apply this on Valken, so I'm going to apply it on Therend. It pretty much means Therend is going to die. Hopefully. And a lot of it he'll kill himself. Okay, so I want to hit a attack buff and a heal. And I doubt this is going to be enough, but that's fine. And I should be able to finish him off. And if I don't die... Alright, so now I'm going to apply another round of that. And I don't even get to possess him because I'm going to kill him first. Damn. So I would have been able to possess Therend and obliterate him with his own guy. So this is a really solid team. It'll even work against this. Emily is the big kind of like difficulty for these teams. I should win. This is a 5,500 rune power team. I should win against this. Unless there is an unforeseen complication, I should do just fine. Although Malice hasn't really been doing much for me. I might need to up her defense or something, which is going to kind of defeat the purpose. Or I need to throw a tank rune on Valken, perhaps. So, I don't remember the order. I should have paid attention to the order. I am going to attack Jin with the S1 instead. Because then we'll buff all the entire team's damage and kill his Jin. And that sucks. Okay. Theft of Grace, Purge up to 3 buffs. That's Taunt. Or with high max health. I'm going to do Theft of Grace on Valken. Purges his Taunt. I believe I got Freeze Immune. I did get Freeze Immune. It applies 3... oh, that's no good. Applies a bunch of elemental buffs, protection buffs. Which didn't do me enough good, but that's okay. Because he has got that dark debuff on him, I'm going to not heal this turn. A bunch of damage on him before that got healed. Oh, yeah, we need to kill him. Owie. Alright, well, not so good against this team. Bear in mind, I am 550,000 rune power in my roster power, and I am Legend 1. If I was doing this team on my alt, I would not have quite this level of trouble. Also, I'm going to try one more, and I'm going to swap out... Malice didn't really seem to be doing much. This team is going to be hard. Let me jump back and check Dagrand real quick. I think I'm going to throw Dagrand in here. I did top him off. I'm going to swap Community Rune. That one is lower. So we are going to put a tank rune on him. It's going to lower his defensive stats a bit, but that's fine. And is there an alternative hopper I don't like? Could use Cobalt. Use Agnon, except I had to borrow his Festive. Mortis, no. Ellen, no. Could use Iris. I need to do a spotlight on Iris too. Or Baylog if he was set up. I mean, you have options effectively. I'm just going to go with, since I threw the taunt rune on there, I think it'll be okay to use the same team. I will actually, I'm going to swap her out. I'm going to take Jin in here, like I was thinking before. Silence them, although he is first. So he's going to clear that silence right away, so there's no point in taking Jin. So let's go ahead and do that. And that. Yeah, that works. I only give myself about even odds versus this team anyways. But that's okay. So he has not already gone. He has gone. There are several, so now we've gone from having 2 debuffs to 3 debuffs. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that on him. Okay, that worked. We're going to do a heal and an attack buff and add a layer of foresight. So notice, well, like this round they would have been immune anyways. So you can see Hagrim has almost been killed and I haven't even really attacked him. So Theft of Grace is going to purge the taunt and all of his other buffs, his Guardian Rune and everything else. So we will corpse eat Hagrim. And he's gone. Now to start picking apart the rest of the team. So this is going better than I had hoped. I will use that ability. And we will Malevolent Strike. And we will finish things off. So clearly this team can do well. You just have to have the right stuff. So, of course, he cannot possess either one of these because they're both immune to debuffs. So I can't show you possession, which is kind of frustrating. But that's okay. We'll finish him off right now. Wow, that didn't finish him off. There we go. Yeah, it all came down to having that taunt rune, I think. I think that was pretty much what turned the tide. So anyhow, this video went a little bit long, so I hope you like it. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Tell your friends about me. Would love to have more people out here following, build the community up. You guys keep watching. I'll keep making them. Take care, everybody.